Solus. Cassandra, I understand our first order of business must be to investigate this bizarre breach in the sky and protect people from the demons descending. While my search continues, I must draw your attention to a new arrival at our camp, an elven apostate calling himself Solus. Solus entered the camp voluntarily, surrendering his staff to the Chantry forces without protest. He is not Dalish and says that he has never been part of the Circle, claiming instead to have studied magic peacefully on his own, particularly magic tied to the Fade. While I suspect you will be reluctant to accept the help of an apostate, Solus did come here to us freely. Witnesses saw him in a nearby village at the time of the blast, so he was likely not responsible for what happened at the Conclave. However, he has described the effects of the breach in enough detail to convince me that he knows more about the Fade than anyone else present. Solus has requested permission to study the lone survivor and one of the smaller rifts in hopes of finding a way to seal the breach. He has correctly guessed that it is growing and believes it will destroy the entire world unless we find a way to stop it. Unless you object, I will allow him in his studies, under proper observation, of course. Leliana. Well, this is peculiar. Mother Giselle's actually standing in the middle of the main hall and has an exclamation point over her head, as opposed to being in the middle of the Chantry area. Maybe this was triggered by the next story mission.
There is something I wish to discuss. My Lord Inquisitor, it's good of you to speak with me. I have news regarding one of your companions, the Tevinter.
Has Dorian done something wrong?
No, thankfully. It's nothing like that. I have been in contact with his family. House Pavas out of Carenas. Are you familiar with them?
He's mentioned his family. They don't appear to be on good terms.
Yes. I believe you're correct. The family sent a letter describing the estrangement from their son and pleading for my aid. They've asked to arrange a meeting quietly without telling him. They fear it's the only way he'll come. Since you seem to be on good terms with the young man, I'd hoped...
Just what kind of meeting do you have in mind?
I believe they just want to talk, to understand why Dorian felt he had to come here. Somewhere private, away from Skyhold, but not in Tevinter. You make them nervous, I think. They don't understand why he's here with the Inquisition. They want him to come home.
What happens if Dorian doesn't agree?
Hopefully that will be the end of it. If not, well, that's why you should be there.
Why would his family contact you?
Because they don't know you, Inquisitor. I am not of the Imperial Chantry, but they know what I represent. These are parents concerned about the welfare of their son. How could I not do whatever possible? I would speak to the young man myself, but he does not care for me. Thus I come to you. If any good can come of this, we must try.
They don't want Dorian to know. That seems odd.
They believe the young man would refuse, and the letter implies he'd have cause. Yet, they are remorseful for whatever came before. This is a chance for dialogue. There is deceit in bringing the young man to this meeting without his foreknowledge, I know. But does it not lead to a greater kindness if there is potential for reconciliation?
Are you sure this isn't some kind of trap? I mean, the secrecy.
That did occur to me. What if it is a plot of those mages, the Venatori? Another reason to put this in your hands, Inquisitor. I pray that isn't the case, but if it is, you are far better equipped than I to respond to such treachery.
So here we go. Dorian wants to meet... Dorian's family supposedly wants to meet with him. So do we keep it a secret, arrange this meeting, and then have it be a surprise? Who knows how it will react with a sudden revelation? And then, of course, we've already brought up the fact that it could also be Venatori. It could be a surprise. It could be treachery. What if this is a trap to lure me and Dorian out and potentially put us in danger? Other hand, what if this is a genuine chance of reconciliation, and if I tell Dorian, maybe he'll refuse? Still, as a general rule, I've been in favor of just being blunt and honest with people than manipulating them so.
If you think I'm going to trick Dorian into meeting his family...
I feared you might say that. The family will send a retainer to meet the young man at the Red Cliff Tavern, to take him onward. If he truly does not wish this reunion, he can always end the matter there. I pray you change your mind, Inquisitor. Perhaps their letter will persuade you. If there is any chance of success in this, it behooves us to act.
Official-looking letter. Your Reverence, I understand that you feel inadequate to the task of bringing Dorian to a secret meeting. Even in the asking, I find it difficult to believe myself. Considering my son has rebuffed all contact, this is the only way. I know him. He would be too proud to come if he knew, even just to talk. That is all we wish to do. The thought of Dorian in the south placing himself in the path of such danger alarms us more than I can express. So he's rebuffed all contact and he's too proud to come, even if he knows just to talk. Well, the last conversation I've had with Dorian would indicate that that might not be the case. Dorian might be willing to return because he's expressed remorse for the fact that he's abandoned Tevinter instead of working with it. So even if I told him, he might come, if that's actual character development that will apply. If this somehow succeeds, we have a family retainer at the Vandrel Hills watching for Dorian's arrival. He will bring the boy to us, somewhere private. If Dorian utterly refuses to go with him, it ends there, and there is nothing we can do. We are at wit's end. Graciously yours, Magister Hallward of House Pavis. I'm mixed. We've had indication that Dorian may be willing to forgive and work with Tevinter again, so it would behoove me to be honest with him, I believe. But yeah, it could be damaging if he refuses, assuming that we're even, this is even trustworthy to begin with. Also, it sounds like I'm going to be going to the hinterlands again for the first time in a long time. Anything from Dorian?
The Inquisitor's work is never done, I see.
Dorian, there's a letter you need to see.
A letter? Is it a naughty letter? A humorous proposal from some Antivan dowager?
Not quite. It's from your father.
From my father? I see. And what does Magister Hallward want, pray tell?
A meeting.
Show me this letter. I know my son? What my father knows of me would barely fill a thimble. This is so typical. I'm willing to bet this retainer is a henchman, hired to knock me on the head and drag me back to Tevinter.
This could be the Venatori. Lure us somewhere remote, then an ambush.
Perhaps. Although this does look like my father's penmanship. Or could he have joined the Venatori? No, that can't. Well, anything is possible. Let's go. Let's meet this so-called family retainer. If it's a trap, we escape and kill everyone. You're good at that. If it's not, I send the man back to my father with the message that he can stick his alarm in his wit's end.
There seems to be bad blood between you and your family.
Interesting turn of phrase. But you're correct. They don't care for my choices, nor I for theirs.
Because you wouldn't get married. Because you left.
That too.
I think you should meet with this retainer. Find out what your family wants.
I didn't ask what you thought, did I? That was unworthy, I apologize. There'd be no harm in hearing what this man of my father's has to say. If I don't like it, however, I want to leave.
That works for me.
I wonder how much my father paid this man to wait around just in case I showed. We'll find out soon enough.
There could be a lot of people in Tevinter that are willing to just, wait around. Hey, it's free work, right? Or free money, if you're just going to stand around and wait for someone just to deliver a message. By the way, you're probably noticing it says, speak with Morgan in the corner, which I may have already done. I think I'm going to cut this whole Dorian storyline into the next episode and keep it out of episode 100 because it's not really... It's kind of a whole side plot that's not related to the Confessions of a Lyrium Addict. A prison cell. A scrap of paper for my confession. Scarce enough bread and water. All I got for skimming one lousy bottle from the lyrium stores. Knight Lieutenant Freyan cut my normal rations for insubordination. Insubordination, my ass. It's because I saw him desert the guard tower to meet his girl. Freyan thought he'd teach me a lesson. I'm thirsty, but the water doesn't work. It should be more blue. You take it like medicine at first, delirium. Your whole body sings with it like the Maker's own fire. You're not scared of anything, not even abominations. After, it even takes away the nightmares. But the ration's too small. If they don't give you enough, your hands get cold. The sky starts to press down on you. Little things slip away. So you have to stay. The senior Templars all have that look, that cloudy look in their eyes. Sign your confession, they said. I'm trying. I can't think of what name to sign. Confessions of an Unknown Templar found among the Mortismund Chantry records in 827 Blessed. Alright, before we depart, we're into a quick little bit of war table maintenance.
Until the rest of our forces return from the Arbor Wilds.
Of course.
So let's see how things worked out with House Amladaris. These words. Ooh, a Master Spirit Rune, that's already a good reward. A quiet message arrived from House Almadaris today. Considering the speed of the response, it seems hard to believe the family had no knowledge of what Dorian found in the book. I wonder how long they've sat upon the secret, wondering if it might someday come to light. Leliana. So this was about the identity of Corypheus. The quiet message. Dear Inquisitor, we are most appreciative of the information you provided. How scandalous to think that there might be any connection between our house and those fiends of legend. It's not true, of course, and to reassure you on that point, I tend to dedicate my family towards helping the Inquisition in its righteous struggle. Yours in faith, Master Irian of House Amladaris. These words are so difficult sometimes. Magister Irian of House Amladaris. Second shot. I'm surprised. We got a rune, cool. But we didn't get a. I'm surprised we didn't get influence for having an entire house apparently pledge themselves to our cause. Still, all right. Successfully completed a house on the story mission that was the long chain involving Dorian investigating the identity of Corypheus. Archives of Montfort. It took a great deal of time to move the archives to the White Spire of Val Royale. The tower there is almost impregnable and now abandoned by the Templars, so I thought it the best place. The abbesses are overjoyed and gave us a number of interesting items as a reward. Masterwork balanced pommel, so we got a schematic out of it. But important thing is, hey, library saved. Good for us. So, where do we proceed from here? I suppose out of all the things that I can do, it makes sense to me that let's prioritize the now that everyone's available, let's prioritize the Josephine quest, because as a general rule, I like to prioritize the missions of my companion characters. Josephine has always wanted a copy of her ancestral family crest from before the Montliettes were exiled from Orlais. Track one down for her. You can't use Cullen, can't use Josephine. So this is specifically a Leliana looking out for her little sister type situation. A surprise for Josephine, of course. I know antiquarians from the court who might help.
Let's see what we have.
Yeah, it's hard. Even no matter what happens in her character development, you can't completely see. Leliana as this emotionless assassin if she's still looking out for her little friend. So, strike a bargain with the merchant princes. You know what striking a bargain sounds like? A Josephine mission, but we'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, it is a Josephine mission exclusively. That narrows it down. Inquisitor, the allied merchants of the monarchy of Antiva have inquired whether they can assist us in any fashion. They could provide us with some of the finest goods in Thedas, a powerful boost to our prestige, and spread our influence north. The merchant princes will also attempt to ensnare us in contracts so convoluted that we will be eternally tied to them. If we are interested, we must send our most skilled negotiators. Our diplomats are well respected, and I feel we can come out ahead of the bargain, if we are prepared to commit to it. Ambassador Montliet. Josephine, I have chosen a few dozen diplomats to handle the merchant princes. I will, of course, inspect everything we sign myself. I'll put my trust in you, Josephine.
Inquisitor.
It usually works out. Right? Alright, this is going to be a triple mage party with Dorian, Vivian, and Solus. I know, it's But if you use 3 mages, it's boring. They have infinite barriers and dispels and bubbles. That's dumb, right? Well, we're back in the hinterlands because I have a reason to return. I mean, besides the backlog of quests that are still left here. Seriously, poor Red Cliff Village has just packed with NPCs that I have not even spoken to yet and landmarks I haven't looked at. Because I spent so long in the hinterlands early in the series that when I saw this area and it was packed with even more stuff, I was like, let's go check out that swamp. That sounds like fun. And then I never came back. But we have new reason to come back here because we have a Vivian quest, we have a Solus quest, and we have a Dorian quest, which is the specifically the one about there we go, the one about his family contact. So definitely a reason to come back. Vivian's just gonna be a quick pick something up, so this will be short. Favors of the First Enchanter. Vivian wishes to undo the damage done to her beloved Circle of Magi, and hopefully restore it to its former relevance. Recovering phylacteries and tomes lost with the fall of the circles will help. Find a circle tome in the hinterlands. So we've been finding a series of circle tomes for Vivian over the course of the game, although it's been a very long time since the last time I focused on one. And funnily enough, there's only been one remaining for a while now, and it's been just hanging out here in the hinterlands where I've always had access to it, and just haven't quite gotten around to it. Wow. I actually forgot how kind of beautiful most of the hinterlands are. Oh, I guess I have to follow this path a little more closely on the approach. Yeah, this is, I mean, there's a repetition to it because of how long this area is and how much stuff there's to do in it, and I've heard some people claim it's the least interesting area in the game, but it's just goddamn beautiful with all its cliffs and its, everything really, but also, to some extent, that columnar joining that I love so much. Oh, this makes sense. Okay. It looks like we may have to... Oh, is this not going to let me in? Please let me move. Guys, get out of my way. So it looks like we have to figure out a way to climb. Oh, there we go. There's just a slope over here. I think this actually strikes a chord for me. I mean, this makes sense to me because we were here before, I believe. Oh, it might be upstairs. Oh, that's just a ladder. It's probably over here. I think I remember climbing all the way across here and being like, this seems like a place where something should be. But there was nothing there, really. And it makes a bit more sense if that's supposed to be the location of a Vivian collectible. Because it is the kind of place where you'd expect a Vivian or Blackwall collectible. And since I knew neither of them when I first came here, that would make sense that I wouldn't see it the first time. Alright then, Vivian, there you go. Favors of the First Enchanter. We have to go return to her to talk to her. I wonder if I can just talk to her right here. Oh, Vivian and Solus are far apart. Can I talk to party members? No, I can't. I can't click on them when we're wandering around. That's right. So, we'll be sure to catch up with Vivian back in town soon enough. But next stop, I believe, should probably be Dorian. So, we'll warp into town. How fast is this? It always looks weird how the traveling animation just completely loses its mind on a regular basis. So, last resort of good men. Mother Giselle passed along the letter written by Dorian's father. Dorian may wish to read it, but it may be best just to take him to the tavern to sort this out in person. Bring Dorian to the Golden Lantern. Well, I've already made that decision. I already went ahead and just let Dorian, I already went ahead and just told him what he needed to know and left it at that. You know, be frank with him, let him make his own decisions. He's a big boy, even if people are petty and all that. Might as well grab this landmark that's right in my face here. No. Alright. I was kind of expecting a codex entry because that usually happens, but if it wants to just show up and disappear, I guess that's cool too. I even awkwardly paused and everything, waiting for something to pop up for me to read. Alright. We'll see what happens here.
Uh-oh, nobody's here. This doesn't bode well.
Dorian.
Father. So the whole story about the family retainer was just, what? A smokescreen?
Then you were told. I apologize for the deception, Inquisitor. I never intended for you to be involved.
Of course not. Magister Parvus couldn't come to Skyhold and be seen with the dread Inquisitor. What would people think? What is this exactly, Father? Ambush? Kidnapping? Warm family reunion?
This is how it has always been.
I should leave you to work this out.
Oh, no, you don't. I want a witness. I want someone to hear the truth.
Dorian, there's no need to.
I prefer the company of men. My father disapproves.
I'll need you to explain that.
Did I stutter? Men and the company thereof, as in sex. Surely you've heard of it.
This is not exactly news, Dorian.
And why should it be? Why should anyone care? I have no idea.
This display is uncalled for.
No, it is called for. You called for it by luring me here.
This is not what I wanted.
I'm never what you wanted, Father. Or had you forgotten?
That's a big concern in Tevinter, then.
Only if you're trying to live up to an impossible standard. Every Tevinter family is intermarrying to distill the perfect mage, perfect body, perfect mind, the perfect leader. It means every perceived flaw, every aberration is deviant and shameful. It must be hidden.
So that's what all of this is about? Who you sleep with?
That's not all it's about.
Dorian, please, if you'll only listen to me.
Why? So you can spout more convenient lies? He taught me to hate blood magic. The resort of the weak mind. Those are his words. But what was the first thing you did when your precious heir refused to play pretend for the rest of his life? You tried to change me.
I only wanted what was best for you.
You wanted the best for you. Your fucking legacy. Anything for that.
Don't leave it like this, Dorian. You'll never forgive yourself.
Tell me why you came.
If I knew, I would drive you to the Inquisition.
You didn't. I joined the Inquisition because it's the right thing to do. Once, I had a father who would have known that.
Once, I had a son who trusted me. A trust I betrayed. I only wanted to talk to him, to hear his voice again, to ask him to forgive me.
He says we're alike. Too much pride. Once I would have been overjoyed to hear him say that. Now I'm not certain. I don't know if I can forgive him.
He tried to change you.
Out of desperation. I wouldn't put on a show, marry the girl, keep everything unsavory, private and locked away. Selfish, I suppose. Not to want to spend my entire life screaming on the inside. He was going to do a blood ritual. Alter my mind. Make me acceptable. I found out. I left.
Can blood magic actually do that?
Maybe. It could also have left me a drooling vegetable. It crushed me to think he found that absurd risk preferable to scandal. Part of me has always hoped he didn't really want to go through with it. If he had, I can't even imagine the person I would be now. Who wouldn't like that, Dorian?
Are you all right?
No, not really. Thank you for bringing me out there. It wasn't what I expected, but it's something. Maker knows what you must think of me now, after that whole display.
I think you're very brave.
Brave?
It's not easy to abandon tradition and walk your own path.
At any rate, time to drink myself into a stupor. It's been that sort of day. Join me sometime, if you've a mind.
I don't know what you think you're doing.
I'm being clucked at by a hen, evidently.
Well, what just happened? Oh, there we go. There he is. We seem to be getting back and forth between Giselle and Dorian, but Dorian's not standing where he's supposed to be. But they're clearly arguing, I guess. Probably because of the religious elements, perhaps. But so that was a very good cutscene, because we got Dorian in a very raw moment there, where these fantasy games and these sci-fi games, really BioWare games in general, the premise of saving the world and stuff like that, they're always dramatic and emotional, but in big, grand sort of ways, and often not always in the really personal ways. And much like we used to get those moments where Solas's shell kind of breaks, and he actually yells at us over something, or most conversations with Sarah, frankly, that was Dorian completely opening up and breaking and having a horrible moment, and we got to see it, even if we kind of didn't want to keep watching to some extent. It's a very human moment with a character that maybe didn't need to have that much more humanity, because they were already pretty personable compared to, say, Vivian or something, who also got her moment. But that was definitely a bonus. That was definitely a good thing to include. And I wonder, can we actually go out for drinks?
Oh,
What's going on here?
It seems the revered mother is concerned about my undue influence over you.
It is just concern. Your worship, you must know how this looks.
You might need to spell it out, my dear.
This man is of Tevinter. His presence at your side, the rumors alone.
What's wrong with him being from Tevinter, specifically?
I'm fully aware that not everyone from the Imperium is the same.
How kind of you to notice. Yet still you bow to the opinion of the masses.
The opinion of the masses is based on centuries of evidence. What would you have me tell them?
The truth?
The truth is I do not know you, and neither do they. Thus, these rumors will continue.
Oh? I'd like to hear what these rumors are exactly.
I could not repeat them, your worship.
Repeat them? So you've shared them before?
See, I meant no disrespect, Inquisitor, only to ask after this man's intentions. If you feel he is without ulterior motive, then I humbly beg forgiveness of you both.
Well, that's something.
This sort of thing happens often, does it?
More than anyone tells you. No one knows their own reputation.
Until someone helpfully informs them.
There is that. She meant well, if that's of any concern. I should ask, do the rumors bother you?
Why should it bother me? Everyone's talking about the Inquisition.
That's good. I'd hate to think I brought you any grief. Perhaps it's odd to say, but I think of you as a friend, Inquisitor. I have precious few friends. I didn't think to find one here. Don't speak. I detest confessions, and I'd like to get this over with. Allow me to say I'll stand beside you, against Corypheus, my countryman, or spurious rumor, so long as you'll have me.
Well, it was surprisingly easy to get Mother Giselle to back down. I mean, I didn't even actually have to stand up for Dorian. I was just like, oh, what are these rumors exactly? Oh, so you've said these rumors before. And then she was just like, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Too much pressure. I can't take the confrontation. But yeah, good point there. Just saying, like, yeah, there's always going to be rumors. I mean, how at some point I just have a thick skin for this stuff, right? Even if I do think that it might affect some level of influence. I'm like, I'm the Herald of Andraste. People thought I killed Lady Justinia. Defiant Justinia. I'm a Qunari. There's just so many issues to deal with here. But still, I still want to go have drinks with Dorian. Is that an option, or was that just like a hint?
The Inquisitor's work is never done, I see.
I should go.
As you wish.
Nope, not so much opening to have drinks with Dorian, much more just, oh god, I'm actually stuck here. Dorian! Dorian, why? Dorian, what have you done? Dorian? This is my life now. Just getting fingered by Dorian for the rest of my life. Alright. I'll see you guys in a bit. God damn it. This has been the glitchiest day of Dragon Age so far, I think. Vitar. After extensive study of the Qunari specimens you kindly provided, I've come to the conclusion that the painted markings on their face and body are not, in fact, solely for ceremonial purpose, but provide a practical benefit. Oh, I'm certain there is some cultural significance of the patterns and colors they choose, but the Qunari do nothing without purpose, yes? They call these markings Vitar, which in their tongue means poison armor. It's called this because the markings are magical in nature and actually harden their skin to an iron-like quality without hindering flexibility. And my analysis says the paint consists largely of poison. It's mixed with something else. Blood. Perhaps their own. And that neutralizes the poison. But only for one with Qunari physiology. Anyone else would perish almost instantly, which reminds me, I'll kindly require another body slave. The process activates the magical qualities of the poison, which provides the protective effects, almost in the same manner that lyrium runes do. How this works, and whether it can be used for own purposes, will require further study. Perhaps some live specimens this time? From a letter written by Nemeria Oreganis, Apprentice of Magister Veras, Dragon 932.